There may be slits in the body that could have to do with stab wounds that occurred. And through energizing the capsule, you may see what appears like a movie. It runs through like a visual, like a short. And you'll see the scenario where something happened where there may have been, I'll just make one up. There may have been a love triangle and a betrayal, and somebody took a knife and stabbed them in the back. And I might myself be able to see a slit that's about this wide on the surface of the body, energetically, visually, and so
Mm-hmm.
folks can even make out the shape of the knife itself, what
Mm,
type of blade it was. And by clearing that, it begins by energizing it. The client is likely to also see that movie of the past life experience, and they very likely will have an emotional release. It can be very potent, and it can be a hard cry, for example. And then you do some clearing of almost as if it's an infection and cauterize it and line it so that it won't fill up with the same issue again. Line it with silver and use rose light to fill it with love and seal it so that that space doesn't fill up with that issue again. And because there is an emotional release with wounding, for example, emotional wounding, for example, emotional release is key to bringing out the block. It breaks it open. It's almost like an abscess, letting
mm,
the infection out. And a person who has an emotional release may have a bliss response following, where they feel a high degree of freedom, a high
mm,
degree of expansion and joy and wonderment at what has just happened for them, because they feel so different when they are not having to carry the weight of that wound anymore, that they
mm,
feel that there is a renewal for them. And
mm,
that's why I will tell people that the evidence of your healing has a lot to do with how you feel different in the now following treatment, as opposed to, say, a weighty issue that they were carrying with them that was always back there, kind of silently nagging or not even making itself known. It could be acting in the subconscious, but affecting their creation as they are manifesting their life in partnership with the creator. So clearing an emotional wound or a past life time capsule can be extremely liberating. And that is why we talk about transformation. But another way that we experience transformation is by giving ourselves the gift of that healing, because every single time you're going to be better off and you develop a sort of higher level of existence within yourself. You take on more closeness to the divine, more openness and genuineness, not only with yourself, but with others. And there are all kinds of levels at which your life will improve. And some of it is gradual and some of it is very sudden. So I refer to that as slow miracles and fast miracles, but miracles for everyone.
Amazing. Let me ask you this question. This is just something that came up as you were speaking there. How important is it? Is this work will this work be completed whether the person believes in this or not? Can we talk about the power of belief in a client versus skepticism? I mean, is what's happening going to happen anyway, whether they believe it or not, or whether they see the effects or not? Can you talk about that for a second?
Yes, I can. The mode of allow is incredibly important in a person's healing journey. Now, it's very unlikely. I have never had an atheist come for a session because they may sense it's somewhere they don't want to go, because this involves contact with the creator. The highest, finest vibrations are the most healing, and they come through, I gather, from the universal energy field as well as the earth. I bring the energies into my heart. I add unconditional love, and it expands, even pouring down my hands, which is how we get the hands involved. We can place the energy. We can also send it. I do mostly long distance work. But the belief, the skepticism is very potent because the guides, everybody has guides, and they will not ever make you do something. They will never tell you what to do. They may bring you opportunities to choose, but force is not the way of the creator. The creator has all the time in the world for you to come to the point where you have interest in it. And I would say that every being ultimately at the soul level has a desire for communion with creator. Anyone
Okay.
who has a parent, even if they've had difficult experiences or never even known them, has very likely a high degree of desire to have connection and communion with their parent and with